Alright, I wish I was able to do this in real time, but I'm going to go ahead and present this in a number of screenshots. This is a picture, aerial photograph taken of the back entrance that this shooter allegedly used. Apparently, you can see the shooter's car. I did, in fact, watch everything that was going on that night. That is what the shooter's car looks like. But obviously, you can see that there is a trail of blood that is heading into the door. And I'm going to provide a link to this image. The bottom right hand corner, you can see the watermark of this John Work. Apparently uploaded it, maybe not uploaded it, but copied it, or I'm not sure. Either way, what's most interesting, I think, is that, and whoever posted on the forum is the one that noticed this first, is that the blood indicates that the individual who's bleeding is bleeding with arterial bleeding, meaning he's gushing blood. You can see that indicated by the fact that as he's running there are spurts of it. But not only that, he's running actually into the theater. If anyone's ever seen CSI, you'll know that blood spatters in the direction that the blood's heading, and you can see that the blood is spattering in the direction, or towards the door of the theater. There, curves around the corner, heads towards the door. Very interesting, though, is that how far away it begins. Obviously, the shooter. This probably occurred after the shooting. People do not remember anybody running in, screaming or anything like that before the shooter came in. So this actually must have occurred after the shooting. This could be a bombshell discovery for those of you who are skeptical of the story that we're being given right now. The individual is not likely to actually have run towards the gunman, right? Just to run away. So perhaps I wish I knew what was further off to the right of the picture. If anyone else has any more aerial photographs, we might be able to reveal that. Another thing that's pretty important to note is that there's currently one car here. Whether that was true that night, I'm not sure. I do remember watching the event unfolding last night, and in fact, it did seem like that was the only car in the parking lot. So other people might speculate whether or not there were more cars in this area. I don't know, because I don't know if they were moved out after that happened, or I'm not sure. Either way, this person must have been parked here early to make sure he got this spot. Opening nights, premiere nights like that tend to have a lot of people show up. However, obviously it'd be a little bit easier to park, I think, for a premiere at midnight because there's not other showings and things like that. So it might be believable that he had an easy access to that parking spot. Okay, right here you're able to see this yellow type of measuring device that probably the police are using. This stain is probably an oil stain, and but you can obviously see that there's this stain which is pulling up, and in fact tapering, or coming off from it is a lot of this is really interesting. This is interesting. There's a bunch of it looks like drips of liquid. I'm guessing. I don't know whether or not this is what hot shell casing does to the ground, or I don't know. But either way, it comes and it converges with the blood stains. I don't know if that's coincidence, but to be honest with you, I think perhaps this indicates that there were two people out here. Obviously, one person cannot this was not, say, like somebody shooting themselves and then somehow running inside. Also, I want to note that the original bloodstains I was talking about appear to have a lot of the blood has a lot of access to the air, because the person that was doing all the shooting was wearing so much padded clothing and riot gear that you would not see this much flowing the blood would not have so much access to shoot out. I'm actually guessing that what's going on is that the individual was shot in the upper chest area. For instance, if he was shot in the arm and there was arterial bleeding, you would expect that blood to be kind of flush going everywhere. Either this person was shot in the head somehow, in the mouth area, neck, upper chest area, maybe the gut, but then again, the gut's kind of got a shirt there, and the shirt would be different. That's very possible, or in the side. But right here you can see that this is where the individual would have been shot. You can see just one streak, and then sort of it's kind of like lighter streaks, and then all of a sudden it's kind of got like two streaks coming out. And I'm kind of wondering if what has occurred is that the person was shot, and then as they're running, they put their hand over the wound, and then there's this sort of broken kind of dripping that's going on because the person has their hand over the wound. Here you can see that as the person ran, this might correlate to these other drips I was talking about. Say if this person is being chased from that point, the individual, apparently it looks like he fell down. This might be a blood stain. All this random strange looking blood might have occurred because the individual fell down and pressed the blood onto the concrete. Anyway, he gets back up, and he definitely heads towards the door. Now, there's obviously going to be a lot of blood around the door. I don't remember whether the shooter came back outside after the shooting, but the shooter may not have had necessarily blood on him, but they did say that the floors were so full of blood that people were slipping and sliding on the blood. Another aspect of it is that the the shooter might not have necessarily had any blood on him or on his shoes, depending on where he stepped and what was going on. I don't know how much blood blows back onto somebody if they're using a shotgun on somebody. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, we can see a lot of blood around this door. This individual, I'm guessing, made it that far. I don't know whether this blood is coming from the shooter or from the individual, and I don't think that if I were, say, like a victim in there, I would come out the back door. I don't know, but it seemed that everyone thought it was okay, time to go and get up and run. So what I'm guessing is that the shooter went back out the back door, so nobody would have ran out the back door. Probably nobody was trying to run out the back door. Because that's kind of like where the individual was shooting from. So definitely something occurred. I'm thinking definitely something occurred out here after the shooting. I think this is just like really bombshell evidence that there was an accomplice with this shooter. That something went down out here, which may suggest, which would appear to suggest that. That maybe it was like an inside job, amongst the people involved in this. Why the person was shot way out here, I have no clue. And why the person decided to run back into the theater, I don't know. It also passed through my mind, what if this was a killing, and then they brought, as the person was bleeding, they drugged the person, drugged this person, carried the person inside, to be added to the victim, to the casualties inside. And so what has occurred out here. Anyway, interesting to note that I don't see any blood on the door. These light trips, I don't know what has caused them or why they're converging with the blood out there, but perhaps that was the person bleeding. There may have been a gunfight between the two individuals outside after the showdown inside. Why do I think that? Well, because if you were wearing all that riot gear, and let's say that you had been shot and you're bleeding, there would be blood coming out of you, but it would be highly obstructed. So maybe you would only get this like dripping going on, or perhaps this is blood, like we were talking about earlier. No, I mean, yeah, so there's not blood coming to that point. It looks like whoever was standing there causing these small drips was somehow, he started dripping there, and at that point must have chased this individual back in. I have no clue what's going on here. Anyway, interesting to note is you see the staircase in the top left. the top left, when the person, somebody tends to think that the person saying that he saw the person go outside to quote unquote take a phone call out the emergency exit. And first let me say that emergency exits have emergency exit alarms, and you have to wonder. Now I'm just going to bypass that. I have seen people use emergency exits before to exit the theater at the very end, so they don't always have an alarm that goes off. But whether it does, and that's what that little, that you can see above the purple door, that there's some kind of an orange metallic out coming out of the wall there. Is that some kind of an alarm? I don't know. Was that disabled beforehand? I don't know. But anyway, the person that saw him go up through the door, he said it appeared as though he was motioning to somebody outside, and I would love to know which way he was looking, right? Because if he was looking down, somebody might make the argument, oh, he's looking for something to jam the door. Anyway, you can clearly see around there that there was nothing that would have been able to jam this door, unless he pulled something off of his person to jam it, in which case he would not be looking around. But if he was motioning to somebody, now we've already got a pretty good indication that there were two people out here. Obviously there's this blood going into the theater, but would this person be up on the stairs, or would this person be out towards the corner, towards the car there? I don't know. Anyway, I think that this is conclusive evidence. I think it really is conclusive evidence that what we have is either at least two people in this area at the time of this mass murder. So the idea that there's just this one person, I think, indicates that there's that people are in fact correctly speculating that there's some level of conspiracy, corruption going on here.